center of the universe and the Thrive15.com world headquarters.
Let's go!
Presenting the world's only business school without the BS with optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner and the Forrest Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year in your ear, Clay Clark. It's the Thrivetime Show on Talk Radio 1170. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, boom, boom. Welcome back inside your audio dojo of mojo. It is the Thrivetime Business Coach Show. My name is Clay Clark, and I am heavily hopped up on Dayquil today. I woke up this morning, and for whatever reason, I felt like those spring allergies are coming to get me. And if you are maybe new to Oklahoma, if you've never experienced this before, about half the state starts to have crazy allergy, sinus issues as soon as the spring gets here, when the summer gets here, and it has hit me. And so because I am committed to being here on a daily basis with you, the Thrive Nation, I have bought all of the Dayquil that they will sell me. I have ingested enough Dayquil to kill a small goat. And today, we have a great business coach radio show for you. Today, we're talking about the empire state of mind. The mind that you would need, the mindset you need to have if you wanted to build an empire in the world of business. And specifically, the 4-step path to financial freedom. Yes, there's 72 things you need to do over here and 16 things you need to do here, but there is a 4-step path to financial freedom, and I want to go through it here with you today. The first phase is the early phase. This is where you're basically searching for your first customers, and you're just scraping and clawing and hoping to make profitability. Now, this is the first step, and unfortunately, according to Forbes, 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs don't ever pass this level, this area. Basically, they start a business because they have a big idea, and then they never actually move beyond the idea of just trying to secure the initial customers. However, the next step number 2, is where you actually begin to build your core team, right? You build your core team, and you can escape the actual day-to-day workings of the business. And so as your business coach, my focus is to make sure that you have a clear understanding of where you are and then where you want to get to. So let's start off with phase number 1, securing those early clients. Well, what does that look like? Well, 1, you definitely want to get your branding nailed down. You want to get your branding nailed down at this point. You want to have awesome print pieces. You want to have awesome marketing. You want to have great one-sheets. You want your landing page to look great. You want everything that the customer sees and touches to be powerful, to look high quality. And the reason why is because people definitely will perceive you based upon the branding. And in the absence of value, price is the only consideration. So imagine going into Starbucks, let's say. And let's say that Starbucks didn't have great branding. Let's say you went in there and their signage looked like it was homegrown, homemade. Let's say that their logo looked like it was different from store to store. Each store had a different logo. Let's say their website wasn't updated. It didn't look sharp. Let's say that the actual pricing on the menu and the names of the beverages were not clearly defined. And let's say that every employee wore their own outfit. There was no universal uniform. Well, what would happen is that you would begin to judge that brand, that business, based upon the contextual clues that you have. I mean, that's how we as a human race have been able to, I think God's given us a gift to avoid danger by giving us this thing called discernment, or maybe it's a conscience, or maybe it's just the ability to sense that something's not right. So what you do is your defenses automatically go up. So I'll give you an example. I typically wear a hoodie sweatshirt. I used to wear blue suit and red tie and white shirt for like 16 years. I mean, that was my move. I always wore dress clothes, And this is before I started working as a business coach. I mean, I was always dressed up, always dressed sharp, because when you met me, I wanted my first impression that you had of me to be that of somebody who's credible, who you wouldn't mind doing business with. Well, over time, one of my secret goals is I always wanted to wear a hoodie every day. I thought the idea of someday just kind of going straight up Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, and just wearing a hoodie every day. That's sort of like my Narnia. That's sort of my heaven of apparel. I wanted to get into the hoodie only zone. Well, long story short, let's say that you came and you attended one of our workshops at the Riverwalk here in Jinx, America. So you're on the left coast of the Riverwalk. You've been there all day, and the workshop ends at about 3. They start at 7 a.m. They end till 3. By the way, if you want to learn more about it, go to thrivetimeshow.com. They are the most comprehensive business coach experiences you could possibly have. There's more. We teach you search engine marketing, branding, sales. It's all right there. But let's just say you go out to your car, and when you go out to your car, you just say, you know what, I got some paperwork. I'm going to come back in here. I'm just going to stay late. So now you're staying from 3 o'clock to about 11 o'clock. And for some reason, you get out there to the parking lot and your car won't start. Well, let's say that a guy in a suit with a blue sweat suit and a red tie and a white shirt walks up to you and says, hey, do you need some help? You would probably have the initial signs. You would initially probably guess that this person is there to help you. They are safe. They're going to help you. And that's probably how you would perceive that situation. Now, let's say that the same person approached you to help, and they had a hoodie sweatshirt on. And this is again, at nighttime, 11 o'clock at night. They have the hood up over their head to keep warm or to keep out of the elements, whatever. They have a hat pulled down low. They have baggy jeans. And what would be your initial impression? Well, you'd probably be less accepting or less trusting of the person trying to help you, regardless of whether the person had great intentions or not, and regardless of whether that person has the tools and the prerequisite things needed to help you get your car going. So what would happen is you would actually reject the messenger because of the branding. You would actually judge the book based on the cover. I see this all the time at the mall, Woodland Hills Mall. You know, Dr. Robert Zellner has the massive optometry clinic located there just on it's at 65th and Memorial there. That's where his Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, his eye care center, is located. Well, if you go inside the mall, there are certain guys that dress sort of, dress to impress, and there's guys who dress sort of thuggish, and it's amazing to watch people in the mall, but people will react a certain way based upon the way the person dresses. Another example is whenever I am traveling on an airplane, I'll typically wear my hoodie, sweatshirt, and I'll wear my baggy jeans, but I will also intentionally be trying to avoid conversations because I have a ton of work I want to get done on the plane, right? So I'll actually keep my hood on the entire time that I am on the plane. And it is amazing how few people will approach you and ask you questions when you have the hood on your hoodie sweatshirt when you keep it up. It just shows that, hey, I'm antisocial, I'm trying to get paperwork done, or whatever you might perceive me as, but it limits conversations. Now, when I go on the plane and I've got a suit on, and I have my tie on, and I've got my white dress shirt, man, it's like a conversation starter. People ask you, hey, what do you do? And so maybe if you want to get business on an airplane, maybe you should wear a suit and a red tie and a white shirt, and maybe that'll open up conversations for you. And maybe if you're wearing a hoodie sweatshirt right now and you wear one every single day and you don't have enough business, then maybe you need to start changing your apparel a little bit. And I want to give you a notable quotable from Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is the guy who was most notable. He most notably started PayPal. He started Tesla. He started SpaceX. He's basically a guy who has gone on to have prolific success. By the way, he started Solar City. And as a business coach, I spent all my time studying these people. And Elon Musk had this notable quotable. He says, brand is just a perception. And perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. So in that first phase, as we're talking about the empire state of mind and the four steps, and in the path to financial freedom, that first step is you want to secure your early clients and get to profitability. So one is you definitely want to get your brand knocked out. If the brand is not solid, you don't want to move on here, okay? Also, you want to get that three-legged marketing stool going. Now, the three-legged marketing stool is the ways in which you go out there and acquire customers. How do you get your phone to ring? So right now I'm working with an entrepreneur that's a young couple, and they're great people, and they are in the construction business. And they're at this first phase where we have their website built for them now. It looks very sharp. We have their business cards made. It looks great. We have the one sheet made. We have everything that we need to have done in terms of branding. However, now they have to come up with a way to secure clients. We have to do this. And as the business coach, I'm showing them the proven path. So if you happen to be in the construction business, I will give you the big three, because I've done this with lots of contractors, is one, you would want to implement the system called the Dream 100. Two, you'd want to implement the search engine optimization strategy that will get you right to the top of Google. And three, you want to do AdWords, retargeting ads, and Facebook ads. Again, I'll repeat that if you're taking notes. If you are in the construction business, you want to do the Dream 100. Two, you want to have a search engine optimization strategy being implemented so you can get to the top of Google. And three, you want to have Facebook ads, you want to have retargeting ads, and you want to have AdWords. You want to have all those three-legged marketing stools. You want to have that all three legs running at the same time so that you can begin to acquire customers. And if you don't know how search engine works, it's okay. We can teach you at our next in-person workshop. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can get your tickets, and we'll show you exactly how the search engine optimization strategy works. If you don't know how to do the Dream 100, well, the Dream 100 was a system that was developed by Chet Holmes. And what happened was Chet Holmes is a best-selling author, and he actually was the former business partner of Charlie Munger. And what Charlie Munger, by the way, is Warren Buffett's business partner. And if you're scoring at home, Charlie Munger is actually worth $1.45 billion today. So Charlie Munger's doing well as Warren Buffett's unsung hero. Don't feel bad that you haven't heard the name Charlie Munger yet. Trust me, Warren is taking care of his main man, Charlie. But anyway, he went to work for Charlie Munger, and he distilled some of the marketing systems that he saw being implemented over and over again. And one of those systems is called the Dream 100, and it is documented in a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. But I wanted to read to you a short excerpt from this book so you can kind of see the power of the Dream 100 system. It says, about 3% of buyers at any given time are buying now. 7% of the population is open to the idea of buying. The remaining 90% fall into one of these three equal categories. The top third are not thinking about it. The next third are the next third think they're not interested, and the final third are definitely not interested. So with this construction company, they're reaching out to their top 100 ideal and likely buyers, the people that they want to sell to the most, knowing that about 90%, 95% of people are going to reject them, but if they stay in touch, they're eventually going to sell something to their ideal and likely buyers. And that, in combination with search engine optimization, with the Facebook ads, with the retargeting, and the AdWords, they're eventually going to make their phone ring, right? But when we come back, we're going to talk to you more about this phase one of growing a successful business that has the potential to create both time freedom and financial freedom for you and your family. Stay tuned. It's the Thrivetime Show on your radio. During the break, check out thrivetimeshow.com to learn more information about our next upcoming in-person 2-day workshop. They were designed with you in mind. They're 15 hours of power. We teach branding, search engine, marketing. It's a game changer. Stay tuned.
I used to live on pants sag, not giving baby boy, now I'm all grown up. I used to cruise the used car lot, put chrome in the truck. Baby boy, now I'm all grown up. Yeah, we used to ball like that. Now we on the ball team, holla back. Now I got black cards, good credit and such. Baby.
I'm Ken P. Lott, and I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Professional painting by Ken. Quite a bit of stuff. A lot of stuff I know that I needed to do but didn't know how to do it. Web page, how to hire people, sales, making a schedule, making programs. I mean, just a lot of stuff. I mean, it's overwhelming, but it's good stuff that you can actually put to practice right away. It's a lot different than I expected. Been to different workshops, and you just waiting for the sales punch, and they give you ideas and stuff, but it's always 10 years down the road when you can actually apply the stuff. that they're trying to promote, and this is not like that at all. It's very ground level, help you start a business and maintain and grow a bigger business. I like it a lot because he makes you feel comfortable, makes you laugh, so it opens you up to receive and hear better. This is great. It's a lot of interaction. You can ask him questions, you can help, if you don't understand something, he can explain it more. So it's very, very helpful. They're missing a lot because a lot of businesses probably do some of the steps that he's teaching, but there's so much they can learn into easy steps that they'll grow the business even better. It's not like any other workshop I've ever been to. It's very laid back and a lot of information, and it's a comfortable setting. It's awesome. It's a really good experience.
Hello, Thrive Nation. Welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. My name is Clay Clark, and I am your host with the most. I'm America's #1 business coach and perhaps the most humbled man in the city of Tulsa. Typically, I'm joined here with Dr. Robert Zellner, but today he could not be here as he is out expanding his vast entrepreneurial empire. And as luck would have it, the allergies have hit me hard. So I've been taking Dayquil, copious amounts of Dayquil, so much Dayquil that it would kill a small goat. But I am here with you, pushing through the pain and providing you with that business school without the BS experience that you can't get anywhere else. Today, we are talking about the Empire State of Mind, the 4 steps that you need to take to achieve financial freedom as a business owner. Step number 1, you have to secure those early clients, and you've got to get to profitability. As a business coach, I'm pleading with you. You have to do this. You've got to find those early customers, and you've got to reach profitability as soon as possible. And for anybody just tuning in who wants to know, well, that's a great idea, but how do I do it? Well, that's a great question. 1, you definitely have to get your branding on point. You got to get your branding looking world class. Elon Musk, we talked about him on the previous segment, but he's the guy who launched PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City. He says brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind, but brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. So you've got to get that branding nailed down. That's the business cards, the websites, the one sheets. And I know it might be a little self-serving, but yes, we do that for clients. But whether you use the Thrive15.com team to help you transform your business, or you use somebody else, just get that done as soon as possible. But now once your branding is done, you could have the most overhyped brand in the world, but if you don't sell something, bad things are going to happen. So what happens is you have to learn how to get those early customers to call you. And there's 3 moves that I would recommend that you would implement right now if you're a contractor. I've had a lot of contractors email the show, text into the show, email us info@thrive15.com. So I was giving you the example in the previous segment. If you're a contractor and you want to know, well, what are the 3 best ways to get customers? 1 is by implementing the Dream 100 system, which is simply you make a list of the 100 ideal and likely buyers that you want to go after. The 100 ideal and likely buyers that you want to earn their business. The referral sources that you want to go after. As an example, years ago, I worked with a landscaper, and on his Dream 100 list, he had a major commercial account, and he also had a home builder on his list. And he was able to land both of them and to get all of those referrals. Well, those referral sources weren't just like one landscaping job at a time. Those were massive amounts of referrals. Years ago, I worked with a guy who did home flipping. And on his Dream 100 list, he made a list of bankers because he wanted to be the first one who was notified about homes that the banks unfortunately had to repossess, because he knew that if a bank repossessed a property, that they don't want to hold that property too long. They want to, sell it and get it off the books. And so he wanted to be the guy that could go in and look at these houses and help basically buy them from the bank and fix them up and sell them at a profit. And so he put on his Dream 100 list, a list of hundreds of different banking contacts. And sure enough, he ended up landing the affection and the referrals of a certain bank in Tulsa. And he generated so many referrals from this bank that he was able to build a monstrous, a very, very successful company. So with the three-legged marketing stool, I suggested for the contractors was, one, you want to have a Dream 100. Two, you want to have a search engine optimization regiment. You want to have that in place because a lot of people want to get to the top of Google. They want to do that, and they want to view that as an event, but it's more of a process. And Google has built their search engine in a way that it's been designed to keep scammers off of the rankings. So as a business coach, when I sit down and coach with a business and teach them how to grow their company, one of the things that a lot of people tell me is they want to get to the top of Google, but they don't have really a concept of how that works. And so getting to the top of Google is a 4-step process. It requires, there's 4 variables that will impact your overall Google score. So the first variable that will impact your Google score is the amount of content. So as an example, for this radio show, this show is typically it's a 2-hour show. And so if you were going to transcribe the entire show, it would produce about 16 to 20,000 words of original high-quality content. And so as a business coach, I ask business owners, hey, what are ways that you could add content to your website that would add value using existing documents, documentation, things you've already created? And a lot of times they don't have any original text, but that's what Google's looking for. So what they have to do is commit to a weekly process, and that process could be doing a weekly podcast that they transcribe. It could be writing articles on their website every day. I mean, if you Google Tulsa Insurance today, Tulsa Insurance, let's go ahead and pull out the Google of fun. All right, if you Google Tulsa Insurance, who comes up top? Well, I'm seeing the Tulsa Insurance guy. I'm sure that he comes up top in the organic search. Well, why? Well, because he has an incredible amount of content. I mean, this guy has committed to writing content on a very consistent and faithful basis. And I don't know how long he's been writing content. He's not a client of mine. I can say if you Google Tulsa Cookies, you can see a client of mine. That's Barbie Cookies. She's top in Google. If you can see a client we've worked with there. If you Google Tulsa basketball camps, you can see a client we've worked with. If you Google a lot of things in Tulsa, you're going to find, if you Google search Tulsa mortgages, you're going to find a client we've worked with. But that comes up top in the engines. But if you Google Tulsa Insurance, you're going to find the Tulsa Insurance guy. And this dude has over 289 pages of content, right? The second thing that impacts and by the way, you have to have at least 1,000 words per page for it to count, right? So figure out your process. And if you don't know how to write content or you don't even know where to start, just book a ticket to our in-person Thrivetime workshop. And we'll answer your questions in one of the sessions, and you can ask any questions you want after. We can show you examples. You can actually do a kind of a mini hands-on tutorial. We'll teach you. I promise that you will leave empowered. Now, the second variable that impacts your Google score is the number of reviews you have. So if you Google Thrive 15 and Jinx, if you Google that, there you can see reviews from people like you that have attended our actual in-person workshops. And we have 134 people that have attended and wrote nice comments. Now, we've had hundreds and hundreds of people come through, but we've had 134 people that have made the time to write a review about our business. Well, the number of reviews that you have impacts your score fairly dramatically. So if you Google Tulsa men's haircuts, that's one of the companies I own, bam, you'll find Elephant in the Room near the top. And by the way, your first haircut at the Elephant in the Room is always just $1. So get in there, men. What are you doing? Why have you not been to the Elephant in the Room men's grooming lounge? Your first haircut is just $1. And it's a paraffin hand dip. It's a hot towel treatment. We have a beverage of choice for you. We've got the the rustic barn decor. And we've got the Edison bulbs. I don't know why you haven't been out there yet. I'll tell you why you haven't been out there yet, because we haven't done we haven't done a good enough of a job of marketing the business yet. Because that's the whole phase of the whole first phase of the business is just marketing and branding, generating customers. When we come back, we're going to teach you more about how to effectively market and brand your business. Stay tuned. ThriveTimeShow.com.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
My name is Nikki Warren, and I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. The name of my business is The Mocha Butterfly, and I'm a fashion designer. So I heard about the Thrivetime Business Workshops through a dear friend of mine, and I got a chance to meet with Clay and Dr. Z. And as I talked to them a little bit more, I love what they were doing, and it just made me, more intrigued because I really wanted to grow my business. Well, what I've learned is that for my business in particular, marketing is needing to be, I need to step it up a lot more, and the just focusing in on some key things to get that really going is going to really get me where I want to go with my goals. I think it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere, which most business-oriented, I'm an artistic, artsy person, and I tend to lose interest very quickly if I don't have something to keep me engaged. And the humor, the real life experience, and the casualness of it is just really engaging for me, and it's just very relatable. And so for me, I am having a ball. Like, I was so excited to come yesterday. I had butterflies, literally butterflies in my stomach, and I'm just really excited to be here. Well, it's an interesting place. It's got a lot of words of affirmation and quotes and things like that. Very positive environment. The people here are very nice and friendly, and I love the way the room is set up. It's very open space type of model, and like I said, it's more of a casual environment. It's not stuffy and professional. It's professional, but it's not stuffy professional. There is a difference. And so it's very warm and inviting here. Love the teaching style, love the presentation, very organized and easy to follow. And like I said, the real life experience and the humor just adds that much more to it. I know people who go to different workshops, and I'm not sure if they're grasping all of what's being presented there, but I am almost 100% sure that if they come to a workshop like this one, they will get some great golden information that's going to help them meet their goals if they're willing to apply what they hear. There's no upselling here, which that wasn't really a big concern for me. But if I were talking to someone who's very concerned about upselling, I would tell them that they have no worries here, and that, I think that this environment is very relaxed, inviting, warm, and engaging. And so even it does actually makes you wonder, what else is there? I won't lie about that. So it's kind of more of an independent intrigue rather than someone pushing you into the intrigue of what else is offered. I recommend coming to this workshop because it is an intimate setting, great people. I've met some really cool people doing some cool businesses, and the teaching style and the presentation is awesome.
Thrive Nation, welcome back to the heavily Dayquil-inspired version of the Thrivetime Show on your radio. My name is Clay Clark. I am your business coach, the former United States Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year, and the father of 5 human kids. This past weekend, my wife and I, we celebrated our 16th anniversary. That means that we've been together. I've been tricking the same woman into staying married to me for 16 years. So as we're talking about the 4 phases of a business and the 4 phases you need to really grow a business, the first phase, right? The first phase we've been talking about is that early phase where you focus on the branding and how to acquire customers. Let me tell you what, branding, according to Elon Musk, brand is just perception, and a perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. I must be a branding expert if I've been able to trick my incredible wife, Mrs. Vanessa Clark, to staying married to me for 16 years. And if you go on Facebook and you look for Vanessa Clark, or you find her on the internet, you type in "Now I See" and Vanessa Clark, you can find her and her book. It's truly a sign to my marketing skills. I mean, I do pride myself on being one of the most humble people on the radio, but I really want to just say to myself, good job, self. Good job with your marketing, because there is just zero. It doesn't even make sense that I was able to attract her and get my branding game up to a level that she would actually say yes to me some 16 years ago at Tarp Chapel in Broken Arrow. Now, let's assume, Thrivers, that you now have a system where you have great branding and you can acquire customers and you can operate at a profit. That's what the first phase is all about. Branding, marketing, operating at a profit. Now we move on to phase 2. This is that middle phase. And as a business coach, I know most business owners never move beyond phase 1 because according to Forbes, 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs fail. 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs are failing. It doesn't mean that they're doing okay or just getting by. They are failing. They go out of business. 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs. And that's not good. And that's what this show is all about. That's what the Thrive 15 Business Coach Experience is all about. That's why we've built our 2-day interactive Thrivetime Business Coaching Workshops. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can see them. The next one's coming up here soon. You definitely want to get your tickets because everybody who's attended the workshop has told me, man, this was like a game changer for me. And we have a scholarship available for you. So if for some reason you can't afford it, now you can. Go to thrivetimeshow.com, book your tickets, and we'll make it happen. We will help you learn how to do those next. We'll dive deep into this phase 2. But today, because it's a radio show, I can't go super deep, but I'm going to go as deep as I can get onto phase 2. So build your core. And you want to escape the self-employment kind of death trap here. So here's an example. You're really good at plumbing, let's say. So you're a very good plumber. People call you. Step 1, you have good branding, good marketing. People call you when they need plumbing. So now you are getting customers. You don't want to stay there, though. You don't want to, be cleaning toilets the rest of your life. There's nothing wrong with cleaning toilets. I mean, I used to work at Applebee's. I worked at Target. I worked at DirecTV. I've done every kind of job. I've done construction. You have to start somewhere. You can't be too awesome to be willing to, you can't have that ego to the level where you are not going to start and do what it takes to be successful. But also you can't have the mindset where you just are staying in that trap of really just creating your own job. So you're self-employed. You have a job, but you're self-employed, but you don't own the business. The business owns you. So that phase 2 is where you begin to build systems so that other people can do the job. And the systems must be very, very detailed. So I'm just going to go with the plumbing example. But if you're a plumber, you'd want to make a checklist for how you leave every job site. I've worked with a lot of plumbers, helped them do this. You want to have a checklist for how you leave every job site. Very detailed. This is what we did. This is how much it's going to be. And then we check off the box that we did leave the job site clean, that we did collect payment from the customer, that we did show up at this time, we did leave at that time. But you'd want to have a job checklist, a job site checklist. And you're thinking, well, it's common sense. I don't know why I need a checklist. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. Why do I need a checklist? I mean, what kind of person would need a checklist? Well, I will tell you, once you start hiring people, you're going to find that the majority of people that you hire, they're not going to be mentally engaged at the job. And so this is a thing that I think people don't understand, okay? But there's a thing called employee engagement, and I'll give you a second to Google it if you want. It's employee engagement, and Gallup did research on this. And what Gallup found is that the average employee is not engaged in work, okay? So what does that mean? That means that the average employee is not thinking deeply on their job when they're doing it. As an example, I went in to grab a coffee the other morning at a local convenience store, not a Quick Trip. This actually happened, by the way. I go in, and the guy's got headphones on. He's listening to headphones, and at no point does he recognize that I am, in fact, there. So he just keeps on doing what he's doing. He doesn't stop and say hello. He doesn't say, hey, can I help you? He just has headphones on, and he's probably, cleaning up the coffee machine. And in his defense, it's like 3 a.m. But it's not the level of engagement you would find at Quick Trip. I mean, at Quick Trip, these people are on it. You walk in, the buzzer goes off, and they say, hey, welcome to Quick Trip. How can I help you? I mean, they're on it, but the average employee is not engaged. So as you're building these systems, this phase 2, what you want to do is you want to build the systems so that your business is entirely dependent upon systems and not people. Okay, so one is you want to document everything. The second aspect of this is after you document everything, you want to make sure that the presentation layer is solid. So you need to have a training video for almost everything. Or you want to have some sort of visual graphic for everything. You want to make it easy for anybody that you hire to know what to do quickly. You don't want it to be a thing where the new person you just hired has to search around everywhere to try to find the information they need to do their job well. You really, really want to document everything, and you want to make sure, point number 2, that the presentation is very solid. If you don't do this, though, if every time you hire somebody, they are unable to do the job well, and you decide, you know what, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. I see entrepreneurs all the time saying that. Well, if you want to have it done right, you got to do it yourself, because if you don't do it, no one's going to do it yourself, like you. So you just got to do everything that you're going to do yourself, and if you don't, your business is going to fail. Well, if you believe that, if you buy into that concept that you must do everything, then you are never going to build time freedom and financial freedom. And a lot of times it's just you don't know where to start. You don't even know, how do I even begin making a repeatable process? Because for you, so many things are common sense. For you, so many things are just normal. This is what you do every day. Well, as a business coach, that's all I do every day. I spend my time. I mean, yes, I own my own companies, but I spend my entire day, even in my own businesses, I spend all my time working on the business and not in the business. So for Elephant in the Room, our men's grooming lounge, I don't cut hair, but I help build the systems that allow our wonderfully talented stylists and grooming professionals to cut your hair in a way that generates great reviews. So I encourage you, Thrive Nation, if you are in that level where you have the business coming in, you have some money coming in, you have some customers coming in, please begin scheduling time to work on your business and not just in your business. So when we come back, I'm going to talk about how you can find time to work on your business and not just in your business. Stay tuned. ThriveTimeShow.com.
Everybody get up.
My name is O'Neil Bent, and I'm from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I first heard about the business workshops through my wife, Sharita Bent, and I learned a lot more from her, and also got follow-up calls from different members of the organization. Some of the things I've learned about starting my business through Thrive is making sure I'm spending my money on the things I need to spend it on. For instance, like my search engine optimization, my marketing, constantly reviewing the content that I have on my website, and that's just a few of the things. The overall experience I've had from the Thrivetime workshop has been wonderful. I love how everything that we learn is practical. It's not based off of book knowledge. It's not based off of someone else's ideas. It's based off things that have actually worked and have been tried and true. When you walk in, I mean, we came into a smell of wood burning. There's a chimney outside, so we walked to the building. And when you get inside, you almost feel like there's like I don't know if it's like a pub / club / work environment. It just feels really good. You have music blaring, friendly faces, people saying hello. And then when you sit down in your seat, you have nice, comfortable chairs, a wooden desk to work on, and everything looks modern. So it's a really refreshing feeling. Clay's presentation and teaching style is very efficient, effective. It's also endearing, though, because he's very comical. He'll talk about different things he's been through, and they're all very funny. But he also hits the exact points he needs to hit at the right time. You never feel like, man, is he ever going to stop talking? You always want to keep listening, and then when it's bathroom break time, you're surprised it's already there. So I like how he talks about these practical experiences, and it's very enjoyable. The interaction of the workshop is mostly Clay will give you information that you need to know, but then he also opens it up for questions. So there's always this question and response type of situation. And then there's certain things where he'll direct you to do things, and it's because he knows that that's the way to go. You might question it, but I highly encourage you just to listen and do. And to jump into a business and think that you know everything is the most prideful, arrogant thing you could ever do. But to come here and to speak to someone who's already done this many times, has directed several businesses, and can give you wisdom and information, I think it's wonderful. And I think you can never do anything on your own. You have to have other people around you to help you, and he's definitely helpful. The experience I've had at coming to Thrivetime workshops is I was never upsold anything. I mean, I come in, they do exactly what they say they're going to do, and they leave it up to you to follow up and do the work. And I think that's the way it should be. So it's very straightforward, and they do what they say. I recommend that everybody should check out Thrivetime Workshop, because there's so much knowledge and information there that you can use to help you run your business. And like I said before, I don't think you can do anything completely on your own. And when you have so much resource and knowledge in one area, you can use all of that and get exactly what you need.
Welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. For anybody out there who's been searching for a business coach, sort of a business Yoda, if you will, to help you grow your business. Well, I may not be your Yoda, but I am your Broda, and I am from Minnesota. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, sent here to help you get into a great financial position. Typically, I'm joined here on the Thrivetime Business Coach Show with Dr. Robert Zellner, but he is actually out today expanding his vast entrepreneurial empire. And as luck would have it, on the day that he is gone, I am just being smashed, just destroyed. Have you ever been just destroyed by allergies? I mean, where you wake up and you're just I don't feel very good. I mean, that's about where I'm at. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to take so much Dayquil that I'm going to rebuke the negative waves from technically speaking, medically speaking. I'm rejecting the negative waves of the allergies by slamming copious amounts of Dayquil, and I feel creative. We'll just leave it at that. You shouldn't operate a motor vehicle when you have that much Dayquil, but you can do a radio show, and so here I am. And today what we're talking about is why most small businesses don't work, and really, at the end of the day, what you can do about it. And so we're teaching you the 4 steps that you need to go through in order to create financial freedom in your own life. So phase number 1 is you must secure early clients. You got to get the clients, and you've got to make a profit. How do you do it? We can teach you very in-depth at our next in-person workshop how to do this, but it really comes down to the branding. You've just got to nail down your branding right away. Your business cards, your logo, your website, everything has to be solid. Then you've got to figure out your marketing. You've got to come up with a turnkey, 3-legged marketing stool to generate customers. And when I say turnkey, it cannot be person dependent. You can't just have one person on your staff who is the unicorn. You know, a lot of people, they hire somebody and they just watch the person put on a laser show. Vroom, vroom. Sales are coming in all the time. You're like, man, what are they doing? Vroom, vroom. The unicorn is generating sales, and you don't know how they're doing it. You have no clue how they're doing it. So you pull them aside one day, and maybe you get curious one day, and you say, Greg, how are you generating sales? And Greg says, for me, sales are more like organic. I go out there, and then boom, next thing you know, I got a deal. Boom, I got another deal. I mean, I generate customers all day. I mean, some people have a restaurant, and you see a manager who's just very, very effective. The other day for my anniversary, we had just celebrated our 16th anniversary. Vanessa Clark, if you're listening, you are a great American. Thank you for marrying me. But we went to Russo's. Russo's is a restaurant there at 91st and Yale. And their manager is the man. He's the man. I mean, he makes that place happen. He does such a good job. Very impressed with the manager over there at Russo's. But the thing is, if you took that manager out of that business, It's a franchise, and so he executes the system well. But the idea of building a systems-dependent business would be that if you took him out of the business, and I wouldn't want to do it, and I'm sure he wouldn't want to do it either, but that the business should still be able to run without him. And the best example I could think about is the New England Patriots. And I know that I talk about them all the time on the show, and I know that I'm obsessed with them, but I just want to give you an example of what I mean here. So the Patriots, every year, they do the same thing. What they do is they go out there and they trade away their draft picks for, basically proven players. They want a guy in like his third year who's a proven player as opposed to rookies. And if they do get a rookie, they want rookies that are very intelligent and people they can plug into their system. To quote Bill Belichick, they're looking for good football players. They're not out there looking for tons of potential and who could be the best. They're just looking for guys who are good, who can actually execute the system. So I'm going to read to you some of the recent transactions that they've picked up, and you tell me if you know who these people are. So Connor McDermott, they just got this guy. They drafted him in the 6th round from UCLA. He's 305 pounds. He's 6'8". Well, he also, by the way, Thrivers, he also was a Mr. Basketball, which means that he was the best high school basketball player in his state, or one of the best high school basketball players in his state. And now it's just scary. The guy is 300 and, what is he, 300 again? 300 and, let me pull it up here. Pulling up the stats here. Oh, there we go. He's 305 pounds, and he's 6'8", and they just drafted him to be an offensive lineman to protect Tom Brady. And every year they keep doing it. They drafted a guy years ago who was a wrestler at the college level, and they brought him in, and he became an unbelievable offensive lineman. But the thing is, they have a system, and they know what they're looking for. And so every year, year after year, for 15 years in a row, the team just keeps on winning because they've built a system. They've built a culture. They've built a process for winning. And that's what's allowed them to be successful year in, year out. I mean, there's been years where Brady was hurt, and Matt Castle comes in, some random quarterback who actually had not played any downs. I don't know if you know that, but Matt Castle had not played any downs in college. He never played a college down. He was on a college team, but he was the backup the entire time. He comes in and puts on a laser show, and they still have a great year. And then last year, Tom Brady gets hurt again. They bring in Garoppolo. Who the heck is Garoppolo? Well, now Garoppolo's the guy that everybody's trying to get. All these NFL teams are going, we got to get Garoppolo. We got to get this guy. He's a top level dude. Well, that's what happened with Matt Castle. People are just salivating. The NFL general managers are just salivating over bringing in Matt Castle. It's just unbelievable how the Patriots have had success year after year after year. And they do this because they have a system. And the system means that it's dependent upon the system, not the individual players. If you do not do this, you are going to be stuck in the self-employment trap, whereas it's you have a job and you're the only one who knows how to do the job. And so now you have to work all of the time at that job. You've created a job that not only that no one else can do because you save your invoices over here and you have your checklist over there, and 90% of it's trapped in your head, right? You want to get it out of your head and put it on systems instead. And if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to work on the business or you can't find time to do it, well, let me tell you when Bill Belichick watches film. That guy's the first guy at the stadium like every day. He's notorious for being the last guy out, the first guy in. He watches the game film. He breaks it down like a science, and that's when he does it. I would say the good news, though, for you is that you're not running an NFL team. You're running a business. And so once you build the systems, you get your time freedom back. And so I would recommend for every coaching client I work with, every single business coach client I work with, I tell them this, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. You've got to block out time to do this. So for me, I find between 3 a.m. and 9 a.m. is an unbelievably great time on a weekend to get ahead and to work on the business. Because my kids aren't up yet, my wife doesn't miss me at that point. It's a move. It's a move. This past weekend, we were doing some major search engine updates there at the Thrive15.com world headquarters as we're putting out copious amounts of business coach content. And we got there at 1 a.m. There was a team of Robert and Eric and Devin and myself and John and Steve Currington even showed up there. But we were there from 1 a.m. until noon. Well, guess what? No one misses us at 1 a.m. I mean, it's just we're up early. Yeah, we missed some sleep, but we got it done. And so if you want to escape the self-employment trap where if you get sick at all, everything is going to crash. I mean, if you're gone for a weekend, if you can't go on a vacation because you're the only one who knows how to do anything, you're worried that if you get sick, no one can do the job. If God forbid, if one employee quits, your whole business falls apart because only one person on your team knows how to do sales. If one lady stops working, one guy starts working, now no one knows where the customer files are. If one cabinet installer puts in his 2-week notice, now you can't deliver the product. If that's you, we need to move beyond that. We don't want to be self-employed and be trapped there. We want to build a system. We want to be the owner of our business. We don't want our business to own us. And so the 2 action items I would encourage you to take is, one, go to thrivetimeshow.com and schedule your free assessment. During the assessment, we're going to help you figure out these biggest limiting factors and show you where to start and show you the proven process to success. That's what a business coach does. And step number 2, I would encourage you to go to thrivetimeshow.com and book your tickets for your next in-person workshop. It's so easy to build a scalable business if you know how to attract customers and sell things at a profit. It's so easy. We can help you do it. I promise that you can do it. Now, phase 3, this is a great place to be, and this is where the business is entirely reliant upon systems. And you've begun to establish a core management team. People that have your values, your philosophies, and they can execute the system. My friend, you have what it takes to start a successful company or to grow one. But many of you have been waiting for a sign, maybe even a bell. Well, if that's you, you just heard it. This is your day. Google this. Check it out. Psalms 118:24. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. You have what it takes. You have the air in your lungs to get it done. And now it is on you. It's incumbent on you to take the action. I encourage you to be a doer and not an intender and to start that business, because once you have time freedom and financial freedom, everything changes. You get to be the person you've always wanted to be. You get to do the things you wanted to do. You get to go to Atwoods for 2 hours and talk to people about chickens. Raising chickens. Not that I've ever done that. You could burn piñon wood all day. Your number one to-do list item for the day could be burning piñon. That could be it. Stay tuned. It's the Thrivetime Show on your radio. Burn that piñon.
I'm Sam Parker.
Okay. I'm Karina Parker.
We live here in town.
We're looking to be in the food industry. Thrivetime workshops, we've learned about advertising and what we need to do to get our name out there, what we need to do to get to the top of Google. The necessary steps that we need to take right now to get to where we want to be.
The Thrivetime workshop experience is really encouraging, and it's great hands-on information and stuff that we can relate to, because we're able to talk to people here that are going through the same stuff that we are.
There's motivation everywhere. If you don't feel motivated, then something's wrong with you.
He's very upbeat.
All over the walls.
Yeah. He's very funny, like a comedian, but at the same time, he wants you to learn. And so if you have any questions, he's willing to help you and talk you through any questions that you have, but at the same time making it fun and encouraging for you.
He's also very candid. He doesn't hold anything back that most people are like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't say that because it's offensive.
Yeah, you can tell he's being real.
He doesn't care about offending people.
Yeah, he just wants to help you.
So I heard an advertisement that said to leave your wallet at home, and that's what it's been the whole time. It hasn't been like, oh, make sure you stop by our table in the back and buy 10 books and sign up for a 2-year subscription with us. It was just like, hey, what we do offer, there wasn't pressure, and it's a month-to-month thing. It's not like you're signing your life away.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. Today we are talking about the specific 4 steps that you need to go through. We were talking about the 4-step path to financial freedom, really having that empire state of mind needed to grow beyond just creating a job. Because one, it feels so rewarding when you create your own business. When you have this idea, when you see a niche, when you see a need. I remember I met a lady years ago She has a company called Sweet Bottom Cookies. And yes, this story does tie into a Patriots story, but I like the story and I like the Patriots, so I'm going to tell it to you now. So what happened is I ran into her at a speaking event when I was in South Carolina. I was in Charleston, South Carolina, and her name was Michelle Lewis. And so if you get a chance to Google search Sweet Bottom Cookies and Michelle Lewis, check that out. And then your humble business coach, Clay Clark, you can find the story. It was covered in the Moultier News, by the way, Moultier, Moultier News. And so she had this vision, she had this idea that she wanted to grow her cookie company, her cookie empire. She had this empire state of mind. She knew that she wanted to do this. And so at the end of the conference, where I was invited to speak by the local Chamber of Commerce, she invited me to kind of connect with her during the lunch time. Or no, I'm sorry. She asked my wife a question, or somehow my wife connected with her. The next thing you know, my wife invited her to lunch. So we're having lunch, my wife and I and this lady, Michelle. Well, Michelle has a great product, all right? So she was at phase 1 at this point. She had a great product. And phase 1 is where you have a great product, but you need to get the branding tightened up, and you need to get the selling going. You need to get the selling systems. And so I sat down with her and discovered she was at phase 1. We talked to her a lot about branding and the action steps she needed to take. And to her credit, she'd already nailed down a lot of the aspects of branding. She just needed some refinement. And then the next step is she began to execute her marketing systems. And she used the Dream 100. She used internet marketing. Well, anyway, long story short, I'm at a Patriots game to watch the New England Patriots play versus the Washington Redskins. And this is for my birthday a couple years back. My wife bought me tickets. So we're in New England to watch the Redskins play versus Tom Brady, and it was epic. It was awesome, and I was loving it because the Patriots fans are interesting people in that they have merged their patriotism and their love for America with their love of their football team. So they almost view it. The fans there typically almost view it as though you are not an American if you don't recognize the Patriots as America's team, because their team is, in fact, named after our country. It's a patriotic team. The team is called the Patriots. And so at the game, I mean, when the offense on the Redskins gets out there, I mean, it's just intense. I mean, the crowd's just yelling. They yell such encouraging things as, "Come on, Redskins, you guys freaking are terrible. You guys are going to lose. Unbelievable. Boo." And I'm talking about not just like a little bit of boo, but like a massive boo, like, boo. Boo! It's almost like our defense was being carried by the power of those boos. They're tremendous boos. It was like the wind was at our backs, and all the players needed to do was just go onto the field, and the boos, where they're booing the other team, were so loud that our team that had that momentum. It was unbelievable. Well, anyway, we go to the game, and things are going well. Well, one guy on the team gets hurt. Dion Lewis got hurt during that game. He's a really fast running back who can elude tacklers, and he's yet another member of the Belichick team, the make and model of a Patriot, because they built a system. By the way, the Patriots have built a system where every year there's new players. The roster changes quite a bit every year, but yet they just keep on winning. You know, right? It's just new. You don't even know who the players are every year. Every year it's just random players, and all they do is they go after high character people that are coachable. They put them on the field and they win. So long story short, Dion Lewis gets hurt, and I'm saying, man, I am thirsty. I would like to go get a beverage. So I go upstairs. Vanessa got me great seats. We're sitting right there. I mean, right near the field. It was awesome. About the 50-yard line, maybe 45-yard line. So I go up to get my beverage, and I get in line. And this line is epic because it's at a Patriots game, and it's just there's 80,000 people or whatever. I think Gillette Stadium holds 60,000 people. Let me see here. So the Gillette Stadium, by the way, sits just outside of Boston in a town called Foxborough, and then so it's not actually in Boston like a lot of people think it is. So you have to drive. It's almost like you're driving out to Bixby from Oklahoma City to watch a game. It's almost like there's a big city like Oklahoma City or Tulsa, and you have to drive out to a city like Bixby or maybe Leonard to go see the team because they play outside. They're based in that rural community called Foxborough. Yeah, so there's 66,829 people is the capacity. So I go up there to the concession stand, and this was, I met Michelle, I think, in 2013. And as a business coach, I've coached so many businesses all over the world. I mean, that's what I do. You said, what are you going to do tomorrow? Business coach. What are you going to do the next day? Business coach. I mean, that's what I do, right? That's all I do. So I go up there and I go to order a beverage, and guess whose cookies are available to purchase at Gillette Stadium and many other stadiums all around the world? Oh, it's Sweet Bottom Cookies. That's Michelle Lewis right there. So it was exciting. I took a picture of it, saved it for the archives. I think my wife put it up on Facebook, or I put it up on Facebook. We celebrated it. We were so pumped up for her. I called her, and things are going great. So if you're in that first phase where you are just struggling to get clients, really you need to get out to our next in-person Thrivetime workshop, and we're going to help you with your branding, and you got to focus on getting those initial sales and generating those customers. Now, the next step, though, is where you now want to build those systems so that the company's built based upon systems, and you can avoid that self-employment trap. And when I say systems, I'm talking about pre-written emails, call scripts, checklists. I'm talking about detailed operations manuals, handbooks, the whole deal. And we have a big checklist that we can give you at our next in-person workshop at thrivetimeshow.com. Get your tickets. Get your tickets. And then the next level, phase 3, is this is where you want to become system reliant, and you want to establish your core management team. So if you go up to Thrive 15 .com, or you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you kind of check out our team, you'll notice that we are just like the Patriots. We have some people that come, some people that go, people that leave. But at the end of the day, I'm not going anywhere, right? And the business is built upon the systems. And then we have great people that we hire to run and manage those systems. And so one of our key players, John, he executes these systems on a daily basis because he has the same values that I do. He believes that it's a problem if something doesn't start exactly on time. He is obsessed with naming files correctly. He is irritated with casualness. He wants excellence. And why does he want excellence? Either he has OCD or he's just obsessed with coaching businesses to be successful, and he wants our business to be successful. So he's a guy where, as a business coach, I don't have to coach him about the details of file nomenclature, of accuracy, of saving. He is a guy who fits the make and model of a Clay Clark teammate. Thus, he's a guy who fits the squad, who fits the make and model we're looking for. And now when I'm out of town, I can delegate the systems to him and things don't fall apart. And again, that's because we are systems reliant, and we've established a core management team. So if you're struggling to establish a core management team, what you need to do is you need to begin this process called the group interview. Now, the group interview is a system that I came up with years ago, and it works great. Dr. Z loves the group interview. It's a move, because what happens is in every business, you're looking for talented people, and there's a lot of people out there that are not the right fit. And the only way you can figure out who is the right fit and who's not the right fit is by meeting these people. So what you do is you want to do a weekly job post on Craigslist. I'll go ahead and wait. You can write this down. Craigslist, Indeed, and Monster.com. Every week. So every week you post the job, and when you post the job, a certain number of candidates are going to respond to the job post. However, according to the U.S. Chamber and the CBS News story that you can read, 75% of employees steal at work, and over 6 out of 10 people lie on their resume. So you don't want to waste your time spending all of your time and energy reading every single resume. What you want to do is you want to respond with that, hey, I like your resume. I'd like to set up a time to meet with you this Tuesday at 5. And you like the resume because you received the resume. Don't read the resume. Do not read the resume. Do not read the resume. And then when what happens is when you set up the group interview, the people who are the geniuses will show up on time. And so the last 2 weeks, I'm just giving you examples. We've been doing group interviews for 18 years, but the last 2 weeks we did a group interview, and one crop came to mind. I'm thinking, look, this is going to be a great crop. Somebody told me we had some ORU students coming, some TU graduates coming. I think we had a total of 25 people, or 23 people who had RSVP'd and said they were going to come to the interview at 5 o'clock at the Thrive15.com world headquarters. And of those 23 people, how many would you guess that actually showed up? And don't be cynical and super negative, but how many do you speculate showed up for a job interview on time? And by the way, is that important to you as an owner if people show up on time or not? I don't know. Maybe you are the most casual man in the world, and you have some business model that's going to work on island time, and maybe you have a bar in a Caribbean town where being on time doesn't matter too much. But for America, on the continental, contiguous United States, typically being on time, being prompt, is a valued attribute and virtue. So how many of these 23 do you speculate showed up on time? Any guesses? Okay, three people showed up on time for the interviews. Of these 3 people, how many of them do you think were attentive, that actually paid attention, and had the skills that we were looking for that particular job? Now, they stated on their resume that they had the skills. Oh, yes. But how many of them actually paid attention during the interview and actually could do what they said they could do on the resume? One. Oh, one. I remember last year, I say last year a lot, but it really was 2 years ago. I'm 36. I'm getting just old enough where everything seems like it was last year, but it was really 2 years ago. We had a coder who applied for a job, who had a master's degree in computer science from a major school in Pennsylvania, from Penn. I think it was Penn State. I think it was Penn State. He had a degree in advanced computer science, and he had like a master's, and he was working on just all these different. I mean, just every kind of degree you could have, every kind of major and minor and all that. He sends in his resume, and so we had a great phone interview with the guy, and so we decided we're going to fly him out to Tulsa to see if he can actually do what he says that he can do. We're going to see if he actually can, in fact, code, because he says he wants to be a coder for us, and one of the key things you have to do if you're a coder at Thrive15.com is you have to be able to code. We brought him out, and he couldn't code. The guy could not code. The one thing he couldn't do was code. He could fly here, oh yes. He could talk on the phone, oh yes. He could write a resume that was fictitious, but he could not code. And why is that? Because most people learn by doing and not just by memorization. And the whole school system is predicated on memorization. Look, it's Billy. He can memorize everything. Let's give him an A. Look, here comes Carl. He struggles to memorize. Let's give him a C. But in the world of entrepreneurship, in the real world workplace, it's about what you can do, not based on what you say you can do. Now, we come back, we're going to talk about how you assimilate new people onto your team and how you begin to prune the tree and develop a world-class management team in our quest to help you become very successful and to potentially become a billionaire.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine.
My name is Sean Lohman, and I'm from here in Tulsa, actually, Owasso. I own a residential redevelopment company, so I buy properties and then I fix them up and then I sell them for a profit. Well, Thrive is very non-industry specific. So when we come here, there's business owners from all different aspects of business. They're doing all different industries, and he's teaching us how to look at it from that angle, because he owns 9 businesses. Clay Clark owns 9 businesses, so he knows what's in common with all of them. So he's teaching these big principles, things like just the backbone of how a sales conversation should look, or specifically what your marketing campaign needs to look like in order to make it be sustainable. Those are some of the biggest things that I'm going to take away and implement immediately. It's an intimate environment. There's less than 30 people here, business owners, so you get a chance to ask questions, and it's just really informative and inspiring. Oh, this place is cool. There's a lot going on in here. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot of inspiring and motivational things on the walls, and lots of accomplishments, and just a very cool yet productive atmosphere. I'm coming in here yesterday, and there's a sales team in here. It was Friday, so they're ringing appointment bells and hitting gongs when they're making sales, and it's just a really motivating environment to be in, to see how this business is done, basically. Clay's presentation style is really great. This is kind of a no BS, very direct sort of style, but he'll also get non-specific with what he's teaching, and then he'll get very specific, and he'll use stories throughout the process to really help it connect to you and make it implementable. consistently he's offered an opportunity to ask questions at the end of each workshop, and so that's really where the learning takes place, is asking those questions and getting those direct answers so that we can take those action items away from that. I don't see enough questions being asked, and sometimes that's just natural, but if people are missing out on the opportunity to ask questions, they're missing out on the opportunity to learn. And so if there's anything that's going to stop you from learning and growing, it's you. If you're here, you're going to learn and grow as long as you're motivated to do that. And these other seminars that I went to 6 actually in the last year. So of these 6, at every single opportunity, at the end, there's always a back of the room thing. Hey, you can spend a little money here and get this or that or this. And although those things are helpful, that's not always necessarily the best feeling we want to get. So he wants us all to know, and he's very clear about the fact that he's not trying to upsell us anything. His motivations are different. He's not trying to sell us. He's trying to help us. He's trying to mentor us. And he's very open about it. So I'd say it's awesome. That aspect of it's awesome. We need more people who are motivated in this world. We need more people who are willing to become entrepreneurs, who are willing to create jobs. We need more of that. There's not enough of it. So that's, to me, the message. That's the goal, is mentor 1 million people is this company's idea. And it's a beautiful idea, and I'm behind it 100%. So I want to contribute in any way I can as I move forward. This is just awesome.
Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing when the pressure's coming down like lightning. It's like they want me to be perfect. Don't even know that I'm hurting. This life's not easy. I'm not made out of steel.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into your daily conversation. It is the Thrivetime Show on your radio. My name is Clay Clark, and I'm heavily influenced by Dayquil today. I asked the guys on my team, I woke up this morning feeling like the allergy plague had taken over my cranium. When you have such the sinus congestion, where if you look down or you begin to bend over to pick something over, to pick something up, the pain that begins to rush to the middle of your head is epic. There's just that pain between the eyes that makes the man cry. It's unbelievable. And so I realized that you, the listener, need to have a quality broadcast today. And I also realize that Dr. Robert Zellner is geographically not with us here today because he's out expanding his vast entrepreneurial empire. So I looked to the left, I looked to the right, and I realized that as your business coach, I needed to do the only thing that I could do, and that is to take as much Dayquil as humanly possible. So you shouldn't operate a motor vehicle when you've had this much Dayquil. You shouldn't feed this much Dayquil to a goat because you would kill it. But if I take the Dayquil, it just increases my creativity by 2%. And here I am with you, the raging bull of entrepreneurship. No amount of Dayquil can hold me down, and I am here. And today we are talking about the 4 steps to building a successful business, the 4 phases of building a successful business. That first phase, I hate the first phase. Some of you like the first phase, but I hate the first phase. The first phase is branding, marketing, trying to generate customers. I hate it when you see somebody out there trying to generate customers and they've been doing it for like a decade and they haven't had any success yet. I hate that part. I love it when we help them have success, but I hate that when you meet somebody, perhaps that's you've been working for years on your new idea. You have a great tasting product and all you want to do is sell it so that you can make copious amounts of money and you just are struggling. If that's you, get over to a Thrivetime workshop. It's thrivetimeshow.com. It's a game-changing event. If you go on Google and read the reviews, don't even listen to what I'm saying. Read the reviews. I'm trying to sell you something. Read the reviews. Come on, read the reviews, check it out. It's the Thrivetime Show workshops. It's going to change the game for you if you struggle to sell. Step 2, you got to build your core systems. Once you start selling something, you've got to build the systems that are going to allow other people to do the job. Because if you don't do that, you're always going to be stuck. And if you get in that self-employment trap where you're always stuck, you can't go on vacations, you can't go on holidays, and no matter how much money that you have, you're not going to be able to have time freedom. And so I'm going to cue up a song for you in just a minute. I played a little bit of a clip of it earlier, but it's called Billionaire by Bruno Mars. And Bruno Mars is a man that as a business coach, I study success stories. And he is a guy who grew up homeless. If you don't know that, Bruno Mars actually grew up homeless. And he has gone on to become a multimillionaire and a mega star. He's battled with his own demons, and who hasn't? But Bruno Mars is a guy who wrote a song called Billionaire. And I think if you listen to the song Billionaire, I think we all say, oh, I'd love to be a billionaire. But I would ask you today, why? Why would you want to become a billionaire? I mean, what would be, if you had all the money in the world and you had all the time freedom in the world, what would you do with it? Wait a minute. See, I screwed up that question because I just said to you, if you had all the money in the world and all the time in the world. See, a lot of people don't realize once you have all the money in the world, if you don't have systems in place, then you're not going to have all the time in the world to even enjoy it. So even after you've earned the money, you won't have the time needed to do it. So let me ask you this. Is it possible that exceptionally good business owners know something that you don't know? Is it possible that people who have been able to build big brands that are very successful, that are growing, that they have multiple locations, they have businesses that are thriving. Is it possible that people who are growing a successful company and who now have created time freedom, that these people maybe know something that you don't know? Because if that is true, and it's not just luck in the caste system and your bloodline, if we really do believe that America is the world of opportunity and you truly have a choice as to where you're going to go with your life and what you're going to do, and that you can determine the level of success that you're going to have. If you truly do believe that, then you need to think deeply. So I'm going to cue up this song, Billionaire, by Bruno Mars, and I'd like you to write down all of the things that you would be doing if you had all the financial freedom and the time freedom.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad.
Why would you want to do that?
Buy all of the things I never had.
Would you want to buy a bunch of things if you had all the money?
I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine.
Do you want to do that?
Smiling next to Oprah and the Queen.
Do you want to hang out with Oprah? Is that what you want?
Oh, every time I close my eyes,
What would you do if you had all the money you needed?
I see my name in shiny lights.
Would you want your name in lights?
Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
But why would you want to become a billionaire? I mean, the question I have for you is that if you earned a lot of money, because in America, by default, if you ask somebody, what do you want to do? Most people that I've met say, I want to become successful. And I think that's a noble goal. I'm not a communist. I'm glad you want to become successful. But why? I mean, why would you actually want to become successful, and what does successful look like? Well, to me, success means you have time freedom and financial freedom. That means that you have the time freedom to enjoy the money you've earned, right? Because the money is just a unit of time. You could use the money to pay someone to mow the lawn for you. You could use the money to pay someone to run the business for you. You could use the money to do a lot of things so that you could focus on doing what you want to do. So the idea of success without a focus on achieving both time freedom and financial freedom, to me, makes zero sense. I don't understand why someone would just want to have financial success and not have time freedom. So I'm going to walk you through Bruno Mars' song and what he's talking about, okay? So he says, I want to be on the cover of Forbes magazine. Now, I've never been on Forbes magazine. Thrive 15 has been featured in Forbes. And if you Google Thrive 15 Forbes, you'll learn more about our business coach program right there on Forbes. It's been in Forbes twice, actually. I've been in Fast Company. I've been featured in Bloomberg. Well, when you go to these media interviews, one, for Bloomberg, they made me wear a bunch of makeup. Had put makeup on my face. People who meet me, I don't think anybody who's ever met me has thought, wow, that guy looks like he's wearing makeup. I mean, I'm a man, bear, pig. I don't wear makeup. But Bloomberg makes you wear makeup. Then you have to go to New York City. Then you're not allowed to take photos with your kids inside Bloomberg for security reasons. And just on and on. I don't know if you want to be in the cover of a magazine. Maybe you do. Right? And then you talk about you want to smile next to Oprah and the Queen. I mean, maybe you want to hang out with the rich and famous, or maybe you just want to spend more time with your kids. You know, maybe you just want to spend more time with your wife. Maybe you have a limited time on the planet Earth, and you do. And maybe what you want to do is just spend more time with the people that you care about, pursuing the lifestyle that you want to live. Maybe you want to become a lifestyle entrepreneur. And if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking to create both time freedom and financial freedom, that's what we're talking about. And that's why this third level is so important. You have to surround yourself with a team of people who can become your core management team. If you don't want to do that, you're going to end up making a lot of money and having no financial freedom. Stay tuned. It's the Thrivetime Show on your radio.
My name is Tyler Schultz with Witness Security from here in Tulsa. Well, I actually started listening to Thrive on the radio, 1170, and then I got my dad into listening to the show. And then it actually turned into Clay gave us a call, and we started actually working with Clay on a weekly basis. He's helped us drastically when it comes to the SEO, getting us a little bit higher in different markets. Then he offered the conference and just learned a lot when it comes to the sales and the employee side of things. It's going to help our business drastically. Oh, very intuitive, just pulling you in to break down each part of your business. The interview process, the employee process. If employee's not working out, you let them go. It's a drastic experience. You just have to come and check it out. I mean, there's so many things that they can help you with. Clay's a funny guy. He just wants to get into each and every person's business and help you out. Oh, I know I've asked a couple of questions, and he's broken down that question and answered it in several different ways. There are so many different things. The SEO, first and foremost, he will help you get the more business coming in, and then once that is coming in, then he helps you with the employee process of do I need to hire more people? What do I need to put in place? And he gets you there. You hear of all the other different type conferences, and I myself have never been to one, but the walking on coals and all that stuff, that just seems like a bunch of hype that isn't really needed. And I know of several people that have gone to those type conferences, and yet they haven't, because there's no actionable deals, you really don't have any moving forward steps. It's just hype, and it's not needed. Well, just the cost in of itself versus $6,000 for one conference and no actionable steps versus $1,500 and there is actionable steps. You can't beat it.
I made a mixtape in my dorm room. I can't believe this. It doesn't seem true. I won't stop though till everybody knows.
Welcome back to the Thrivetime Show.
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Thrive Nation, if you have started at the bottom and you have still found yourself at the bottom, or maybe you started at the bottom but you've worked your way to the top but you now feel like it's the bottom, this is the show for you. And this next phase we're talking about the Empire State of Mind, the 4-step path to financial freedom. Step 1, you got to get that branding, you got to get that selling, those selling systems, you've got to learn to sell something at a profit. Step 2, you've got to build your core systems. You do not want to get locked into that self-employment trap. You want to build systems so that everything works off of pre-written checklists, scripts, everything is documented. I'm talking about pro formas, detailed. If you want to know how to do it, just get out to an in-person workshop, thrivetimeshow.com, and we'll teach you how to do it. Step 3, though, is you have to establish a solid management team. And this means that you need to be ruthless with firing idiots. You cannot have people in your system, on your team, who do not have the mental capacity and or the aspirational capacity to eventually someday become a manager. Let me repeat. You cannot have people on your team who do not have the mental capacity and or the aspirational capacity to want to someday take over your team. Because if you spend all of your time mentoring these people, training these people, coaching these people, and they're not willing to do what's needed to do to grow the company, they're not willing to take over your position someday, they're not willing to execute your proven systems, then you are going to be miserable. And let me tell you an example from my own life of where this happened. I built DJ Connection years ago, and there were some, we built it to be very large, very successful. We were doing thousands of weddings per year. And the one thing that I screwed up on, and I was luckily able to fix it eventually, was that I had a team of people that I could not stand. I just could not stand being around them. I don't like them now, didn't like them then, and there was a group of people. I liked a lot of people. I mean, I liked Josh Smith. I thought Josh Smith was great. I liked Andy Matherin. I mean, I had some really great guys, but there were some people that irritated the heck out of me. So let me give you an example. We had one guy who worked in our business who pretended to be a youth pastor. He pretended to be a youth pastor. So he actually worked at my office, and in the office, this is about 10, 15 years ago, but he's working at my office. And he's doing a good job at the office, but he tells society, he tells people that he is a youth pastor. He's a volunteer youth pastor. So at night, Wednesday nights, he's going off to youth group, leading the youth group, leading the music, that kind of thing. But in reality, he was leaving every single day during the workday to go visit strip clubs during the lunch hour. So he would go to these houses of ill repute right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma during the workday. And he would go out and do this during the workday, then come home, or then come back to the office, keep working, and then he would go to youth group and lead youth group. And I'm just going, and I didn't know that he was doing this. And so one day he left a receipt on his desk, and I saw it, and I'm going, are you kidding me? So I confront the guy privately about it. I said, hey, do you go such and such? Do you go to this location? Do you go to this business? And he says, hey, it's none of your business, and that's an invasion of privacy. And so all of a sudden, I felt like I was somehow in the wrong for holding him accountable. Then we had another employee. This is all at the same time. Another employee who was heavily involved in a local ministry, and he is just unbelievable. So he says, I'm going to go out to, I met this girl online, and I'm going to go out to meet her in Arizona. And I'm going to go meet her, and we've been dating online, for about 6 months, and I want to meet her. I think she'll be a great person. It's a great person to meet. And he says all this stuff. Well, then one day, he's unloading his equipment after a DJ show, and he's explaining to the guys how he told the girl that he loved her so that she would engage in parallel activity with him. He goes, yeah, I told her that I loved her, so that we could sleep together. He was openly saying this. So he's saying that. Then we have another guy who is pretending to be a youth minister but is working at a strip club. And then we have another guy who is drunk as a skunk all day and during the workday. But we're selling a lot of things. We're making a lot of money. And so it was kind of one by one I saw these secrets, and I was like, what should I do? So as it related to driving and drinking, I pulled the guy aside. I said, hey, you can't drink and drive to shows. I'm going to make sure you have not had any beverages. You cannot drink at the office. You cannot drink on the way to the office. You cannot drink on the way home. I would be legally responsible. I need you to get it together. Well, then I found another guy who had like 6 kids from 5 different mothers, all out of wedlock. Unbelievable. And he's one of our sales guys. So I have a team of 4 guys who this is their thing. Then we got another guy who smokes so much pot, and he's constantly basically living with different women, but he's a volunteer at this church. So I got these 5 different knuckleheads working in my office, and there's a team of 40 guys, 50 guys, but I hated those people. And so every day that I came to work, it was like a penalty almost. I didn't want to come to my own office. I thought, man, this is just terrible. And so I actually started to resent my own success. I mean, yes, I had financial freedom, but I didn't have a lot of time freedom. And you see it with celebrities all the time. A celebrity will achieve a massive amount of financial success, but they don't have any success in their life. They don't have any sincere relationships. They don't get to enjoy their financial freedom with time freedom. They don't get to choose the F6 life they want to live. You might be saying, well, what's the F6 life? They don't get to pursue their faith. They don't get time with the family they want to spend time with. They don't get a time to invest in the relationships, the friendships. That's F number 3, friendships. They don't get a chance to focus on their fitness. They don't get a chance to focus on having any fun, and they don't get a chance to focus on their finances. And so what happens is that they are living a life that they don't want quickly. They're going fast, making fast money, spending that fast money. And I realized in about 2006, 2007, that I had built a very successful business, but I didn't have anybody who worked there that had the mental capacity or the aspirational capacity to someday take over the business, nor did they have the values or that I wanted. And that's why when I met Jason Bailey, I was so excited about him, because he had the values that I had, and he wanted to someday take over the business. So if you do not establish a team, you're going to end up depressed, although you're going to end up making a lot of money financially. And there is a song that was written this past year that came out by an artist who I've actually met by the name of Mike Posner. And as a business coach, it's kind of fun because I get a chance to meet celebrities from time to time and different people. Well, Mike Posner wrote a song called Cooler Than Me back in the day. And then he kind of disappeared, and he became depressed, and he basically kind of musically was trying to find his voice, trying to figure out what he was going to do with his career. His record label decided not to put out his album, or he decided not to release it because he didn't like the way it was going. Long story short, he began kind of drifting around, and he wrote a song recently called Ibiza. It's called Took a Pill in Ibiza, and that song expresses how he emotionally felt at the top of his business, of his music career, when he was actually hitting the bottom of his emotional life. So he felt the least satisfied at the time when society would think that he should be the most satisfied. So when we come back, we're going to break down the lyrics to this song, Took a Pill in Ibiza, and I think it will really resonate with any of the entrepreneurs out there that are making a lot of money but are not enjoying their current lifestyle because you haven't built a core management team. Stay tuned. It's the Thrivetime Show on your radio.
Come on!
This is my wife, Jensen Watts. She has a photography business that we're trying to get up and growing. So I, listen to talk radio. I drive a lot for work, and got tired of listening to radio all the time. And I can't plug my phone into my truck; it's too old. And so, one day the Thrive Show was just in place of the talk show I normally listen to, and it was, definitely more entertaining than most radio shows. And so that's, it took about a week or two before I actually looked more into it. I think it's wonderful. It's been great. It's a great environment. I love the feel in here, and I really love how, entertaining Clay can be as well.
Yeah, I am so grateful to be here, and I've loved just learning everything. I'm learning a lot about branding and how to market my business, because that's kind of where I've had a hard time. Is I can take pictures, I'm good at it, I have my prices and everything, but it's hard to get the clientele. So learning about the marketing has really helped me, and I can't wait to implement it into my own business after this, because it's been so great. We're so grateful to be here. I think I can go home and I have it written out, the steps that I need to take and everything. It's very practical.
Yeah, a big thing that's helped me, even without business stuff, is just, a mental attitude aspect they have that I can apply to my current job and current life.
I love it. I am laughing a lot of the time, and it's so entertaining, and I just love being here. It's awesome.
I really like the smaller class group, so it is more of an interaction, even if it isn't, a constant raise my hand, here's the question, here's the answer. It's just that kind of feel, just a smaller.
It's great. Yeah, they haven't tried to upsell us anything. It has all just been very knowledgeable, and they are just teaching you how to grow your business. So
Clay's been very giving with his time, his knowledge, his talents. At work, when I was telling people about this, they're like, I hope you're not joining some get-rich scheme. Even if it is, he's not going to charge me for it. So, yeah, I'd recommend it. I would even love to come again.
Welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year. I am heavily influenced by Dayquil today. I woke up with some serious sinus, unbelievable allerginess, so I am pumped up on the Dayquil, but I am super duper maximum extra strength pumped up about you, because this is your year for financial abundance. You can do it. I know you can do it. My mind is not nearly as sound as yours. I don't have a discernible skill. I'm not very good at baking cookies. I'm not great at cutting hair. I'm not a skilled optometrist. I'm not good at maintaining vehicles. I'm not a skilled photographer. I'm not a videographer, but I have been very successful as an entrepreneur. I was the Entrepreneur of the Year for the state of Oklahoma. I've started, helped start companies like Epic Photography, Elephant in the Room, Men's Grooming Lounge. Dr. Zellner's built his big auto auction. He's built Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, A to Z Medical. I can go on and on listing off the businesses that he's been able to build and I've been able to build. And I just say that because if we can do it, I know that you have the mental capacity and the tenacity needed to become successful. But if you do that, once you learn how to make money, we need to ask ourselves, what is the purpose? Like, what is the quest? Why are we trying to earn money? We're not just trying to earn financial freedom, are we? I mean, are we? Is that what we're trying to do? No. We're trying to build financial freedom and what? Time freedom. That's right. We're trying to build financial freedom and time freedom. Because once you have the financial freedom and the time freedom to enjoy your finances, then you can have, from my experience, what I call the F6 life, where you get to dictate when and where you spend time with your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. And it can all be achieved if you get that business, that foundational business success checked off the list as soon as possible. So if you're just tuning in, the 4 segments, the 4 steps in the path to financial freedom we've covered today is, 1, that in the early stage, it's all about getting your branding right, getting your sales. You got to get your branding and your sales, and you want to be profitably selling things. That's step 1. Step 2, you want to build those core systems, those checklists and processes that make your business dependent upon systems and not individual people. Step 3 is you absolutely have to build a core management team. And before the break, I was telling you, with DJ Connection, I had surrounded myself with a bunch of people that could sell well, that could deliver great entertainment, but I hated these people. There was some great DJs we had. I mean, we had Andy Matherin was a great DJ. Jason Bailey was a great guy. Eric Herman was a great guy. But there was a lot of those people, I freaking hated them. I hated what they stood for. I hated the strip clubs they went to. I hated them oversleeping. I hated their lack of ethics. I mean, we had a guy working for us doing sales that was volunteering as a youth pastor, who then ended up, we discovered that he went to strip clubs every day for lunch, and somehow he wanted me to feel bad and accused me of invading his privacy when I brought it to his attention that was not the level of integrity and the kind of person I wanted working in my office. I mean, we had just screwed up people working in my office, but we were producing a lot of profits. Now with the businesses I have, I only surround myself with people that I want to work with. Tony Hsieh, the CEO of Zappos, the shoe company based in Las Vegas, he has said repeatedly, you should fire people that you don't like. I would argue you definitely should fire people that you don't like and people that don't have your core values. People that don't, get them out of your office. Otherwise, you're going to get to the top and you're going to be depressed at the top. You're going to go from the bottom to the top, and when you get to the top, you won't even like it up there. And so an artist that I got a chance to meet years ago named Mike Posner went through this process where he'd actually built a big, successful music career. He wrote a song that came out that was on the radio that I think a lot of people know called Cooler Than Me, And then after he wrote the song Cooler Than Me, he started writing songs for Justin Bieber. He wrote the song called Boyfriend for Justin Bieber. He's doing a song with Lil Wayne. He's having a lot of success, but he just felt miserable. And so he wrote this song called Took a Pill and a Bees, and I want to play it for you, and I want to kind of break it down with you, and I want you to take some notes on it because I want to make sure that you don't end up where he ended up, finding himself at the top but feeling alone and really at the bottom emotionally.
I took a pill in Ibiza.
He took drugs.
To show Avicii I was cool.
To fit in with a DJ named
And when I
Avicii.
finally got sober, felt 10 years older, but
Insert bad word. He felt bad when he got sober.
out in LA.
He moved to Los Angeles.
I drive a sports car just to prove I'm a real big baller, cause I made $1 million and I spend it on girls and shoes. But you don't wanna be high like me, never really knowing why like me.
You don't want to end up like him.
You never wanna step off that roller coaster and be all alone.
You don't want to build a business you don't like.
And you don't wanna ride the bus like this, never know who to trust like this.
Surrounded by idiots you can't
Be
trust.
stuck up on that stage singing, stuck up on that stage singing. All I know
He knows.
are sad songs,
It's a sad song.
sad songs, darling. All I know are sad songs, sad songs.
And that is exactly where I found myself at the top when I had built DJ Connection. I found myself working in an environment where I was surrounded by morons. And then I realized that this next level, step 4, this next phase, the ability to sell the business, to scale the business, or to own it passively was never going to be possible if I didn't fire idiots. And if you're listening right now and you're not an idiot, then this is not about you, right? But if you're listening right now and you are an idiot and you're offended, you're an idiot apologist, and you feel like that the workplace should be a church in which you give everyone unconditional love and you always forgive them and you never fire anybody and you have no standards, then one, you're arguing with Steve Jobs. I mean, Steve Jobs has said that most people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. I encourage you to Google that quote there. Steve Jobs says most people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. That's a thought that flies in the face of what most people think about life and they think about business. Most people think that by virtue of being born, somebody deserves a job. Not true. So the unemployment rate, we always talk about the unemployment rate is, the unemployment rate, was 4.7%. Let me ask you this. Out of the 100 people that you know, what percentage of them would you hire? Of the people that you know? Have you ever been to Walmart at midnight? Have you ever been to Walmart at midnight? Have you ever been to Waffle House by the casino after midnight? Why are you there? Well, have you ever done this before? I was a DJ, okay, so I've been to all these places. Have you ever been to insert the place, any public gathering? I mean, there's certain people that don't deserve a job because of the choices that they make on a daily basis. There are people out there, I hate to say it, actually I don't hate to say it, I'm glad I'm saying it, there's people out there who are idiots, ignoramuses, and they will suck your joy. We had somebody in my office the other day. You tell me, Thrivers, how you handle this, the ethics of this. This is a guy that we punted there. In my office, I have a picture of Jesus and I have an American flag, right? I have an American flag posted and a picture of Jesus on the wall. I have a lot of other decor, a lot of other pageantry, a lot of other accoutrements that surround myself and the Thrive 15 experience. But he made a comment that he was offended by the picture of Jesus and the American flag. He said that offended him. That was very offensive. I had another employee years ago who I'm having a Christmas party, and he's offended. Well, how come you can't go to a holiday party? Because it's not a holiday party for me. It is Christmas. It's Christ to the max. That's what it's all about for me. If it's not for you, that's okay. Then go out there and open your own business called Starbucks, where they celebrate the holidays, right? I mean, think about this example. Every single day, the founder of Hobby Lobby, David Green, was fined every day. Every day. Do you know that he was fined every day? And why was he fined every day? He was fined every day because he refused to abide by the new government mandated laws that said that his company, Hobby Lobby, needed to pay for the abortion of babies. He didn't think it was right. And so he said no every single day. He paid $1.3 million in fines every day. But he did it because he built Hobby Lobby not to serve the country, not to serve everybody else, but to serve God. It was his business. It's his vision. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, Howard Schultz, the guy who's founded Starbucks, he actually didn't found it. He met these guys who sold coffee grinders, and he encouraged them to open up locations. They wouldn't do it, so he did it and basically assumed the leadership role. But long story short, he's an extremely left liberal, and everything that he does stands for the advancement of the progressive movement. And I'm just asking you today, what is the point of your business? I want to help you get there. Dr. Zellner and I can teach you specifically how to do it at our next in-person ThriveTimeShow.com workshop. If you go to ThriveTimeShow.com, you can learn specifically how to get the tickets for the next in-person workshop, and we can teach you how to grow a business. But I'll leave you with this final question. Why? Figure out that why and then pursue it relentlessly. We'll see you next time. 3, 2, 1, boom!